कुंज बिहारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिधर धारी जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिधर धारी यशोदानंदन ब्रजजन रंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रजजन रंजन यमुन तीरवनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवर धारी जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवर धारी यशोदानंदन ब्रजजन रंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रजजन रंजन यमुना तीरवनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवर धारी जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवर धारी यशोदानंदन ब्रजजन रंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रजजन रंजन यमुना तीरवनचारी हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे राम राम हरे हरे ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरोन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपदान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचना गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 रामा राम राम हरे हरे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भगवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। नमः पंकजनाभाय नमः पंकजमालिने नमः पंकजनेत्राय नमस्ते पंकजांग्रहे। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नामिने गौरत्विषे नमः। नमो ब्राह्मण्याय देवाय गौब्राह्मणाहिताय च जगद्हिताय कृष्णाय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्ता स्वामीनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधारा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। मक्कुं करोति वाचालं पंकुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपहं तमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं चैतन्य ईश्वरं परमानन्दमाधवम्। ॐ अपवित्रो पवित्रो वा सर्वावस्थां गतोऽपि वा यत्स्मरेत् पुण्डरीकाक्षं साभ्याभ्यन्तरं शुचे। श्रीविष्णु श्रीविष्णु श्रीविष्णु। हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी and माता जी, दंडोत प्रणाम। How is everyone
Krishna
doing?
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mahesh Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Yeah. So Prabhuji, Yeah. So Padma Mataji, Dandat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji.
Myself, I'm hearing your voice after a long time, Mataji. Sorry.
I think you have not attended more classes.
Yes, Mataji. Yeah. I think I've been an irregular student of late, but yeah, I will try to attend more frequently, Mataji.
Of course, you have got reasons, but
Yeah.
not me, no.
No, nothing like that. Mataji, for hearing to Bhagavatam, we should not. We should find reasons to hear Bhagavatam, but somehow I'm not able to do it. But I want to be serious, and I wanted to attend each and every class going forward, Mataji. I think this
Very glad. Very
Nityananda
glad. We want
Trayodashi, I
your
have made a
presence.
commitment.
We want your presence very much.
Thank you, Mataji. Please pray for me that I'm attending more frequently or regularly. Yeah. Hare Krishna, Kinchan Prabhuji, Dandat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Anandram Prabhuji, Dandat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
So hope you are getting ready for tomorrow's session, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu, with your mercy.
Good, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Lavish Prabhuji. Dandat Pranam. Hope you are not in airport. Okay. Hare Krishna, Air Prabhuji, Dandat Pranam. Okay. Hare Krishna, Ram Reddy Prabhuji, Dandat Pranam.
Krishna Mahesh Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Sanjay Prabhuji.
Agra.
Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Santosh Prabhuji, Dandat Pranam.
Video video.
Hare Krishna, Sapna Mataji, Dandat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Yeah. Hare Krishna, Vanilla Mataji.
Hare Krishna Pranam.
Yeah. Fine. Thank you, Prabhujis and Matajis, for joining yet one more Bhagavatam class, one more nectar, one more part of Amala Puran. And when it's a great opportunity. In fact, our Lilananda Prabhu has provided to all of us to discuss glories of Srimad Bhagavatam, and our senior acharyas also say, when there are, we have live examples in our community and even in our Gachibowli Satsang, and a lot of devotees you might be knowing out of Gachibowli Satsang, where in the last stages of their life, they have been spending most of the time with the Bhagavatam, which is really great to see when great souls take shelter of Bhagavatam more in the last phase of life. And it's very good practice what we are doing, that from whatever current state we are in, we are at least every weekend we are coming together to discuss about Bhagavatam, know about Bhagavatam, know about devotees, know about the loving exchanges between God and devotees. It's very nice to see that. And and it is said, there might be some devotees who read Bhagavatam and who understand Bhagavatam and keep it to themselves. But our acharyas say that Srimad Bhagavatam, it is not some Puran where you have to read, contemplate, and implement in your life, only keeping within yourself, or practicing within yourself, or reading and gaining the knowledge yourself. That's not the way we need to, imbibe Bhagavatam in our life. So the perfect way, what our senior acharyas say is, we need to share it. When we share Srimad Bhagavatam to others, that's one of the best way to, have Bhagavatam in our life, actually living Bhagavatam. Living Bhagavatam in our life, bringing Bhagavatam in our life is by sharing Bhagavatam. Whatever we are reading, we need to discuss. That's what it is, compared to, with the knife. The knife, when we are not using a knife, it get rust. Tuppu padutundi. In Telugu, what we say, tuppu pattipotundi. So that's what they say. Like Bhagavatam, you need to share to others, or discuss pastimes of the Lord to others, where they can know the glories of the Lord. So that's what there might be a lot of devotees, and when we read Bhagavatam and we know about Bhagavatam, we there might be a lot of people in our society, or especially in the material world, either it is from the lower planets to higher planets, demigods, or any kind of living entities who are staying across in the 14 planetary system within this Brahmanda. I mean, with the tinge of karma or knowledge or or yogic processes, it is not very difficult to know. Very difficult to know God. Very difficult to know. And we are having ample number of examples how we can know God despite having PhD, scholarly certificates. People, it's very difficult to get the knowledge of God. And God can be known only by pure devotional service. That is pure devotional service, PDS. Okay, so we need to understand that there we have proven records in the past, like Dhruva Maharaj, or so many examples like that, where with the tinge of karma, they come for some penance and for some material gains they come, and after knowing more glorious path of pure devotional service, they have surrendered and they have known the beauty of devotional service, and and they have imbibed that. They could, with Krishna's mercy, they could get the tinge or the taste of pure devotional service. So we need to understand that. And hearing Srimad Bhagavatam is very much required, and if we keep faith on them, and it's really, we should be very glad, or we should have a gratitude, or we should have a we owe a lot to our senior acharyas, or in sampradaya acharyas, or our senior devotees who have ignited that particular taste of Bhagavatam in us, either through different services. And what are the services or our devotees, especially in our satsang, have been doing? When they have been doing really, I mean, wonderful job. This is the services which inculcates love or taste towards Bhagavatam, or increase faith, firm faith towards the Lord. These are the different activities what we do. Now coming back to see the connection between what Lilananda Prabhu has mentioned in the first chapter of 3rd canto and the 2nd chapter. We need to see the connection wherein Vidura meets Uddhava. Vidura meets Uddhava, and there he craves to know about Krishna's message, and he was expecting some response from Uddhava as being a close associate of Lord himself, and having some physical resemblance to Krishna as well. He was expecting some response from Uddhava in the first chapter, as mentioned by Lilananda Prabhu in our in the last week. So in continuation, the link for chapter 2 is in this chapter. Uddhava talks about remembrance of Lord Krishna, and whatever the question what Vidura asks, Uddhava tries to explain it. And the major takeaways, what I could sense, what I could see, or what I could assimilate when I have gone through this chapter is, number one is separation. And second one is, ati parichayat. Ati parichayat means sometimes devotees, we with having too much of intimacy or too much of knowing a person, we might be taking one for granted. These are the two aspects or two takeaways what I could see in this chapter. And we will discuss it elaborately while we go one by one. These are the two aspects what we see when there are so many associates, or so many relatives, you can say, or so many friends, you can say, who have been there with Krishna, but they never recognized they never recognized him as a supreme personality of Godhead. Only they might have seen him as a friend, or a politician, or a diplomat, or a magician, or a normal human being, you can say. So that's something like ati parichayat. So anyway, eventually we'll come to that step, but the major takeaways from these two, chapter 2 is this, what I could take. One, what does it mean by separation? What does it mean by separation? Can any of you give an example, Prabhujis and Matajis, in your daily or in your life in this material world where what is the maximum kind of separation you might have seen? Any examples you can quote within your life? I can quote when one example what I can quote is when we were in Tirupati. My elder one, she was almost 2 years, 1 to 2 years of age, and she missed in Tirumala railway station, and we were searching for her in the outside the railway station, and she alone walked and went to a train and got into a train. Since no one was there back, either dad or mom, no one was there. She came back again. So for those 5 to 10 minutes, the struggle what we have gone through for searching, or the separation what we had with her was the peak what we could feel. And each and everyone can be having different experiences in our current society. Either it is lover, or either it is between mother and daughter, or father and son. A lot of relations we can see. But in your life, have you seen anything? What is the pain in separation? Any experiences, any examples in your real life? Please comment.
Yes, Prabhuji, Prabhuji. Yes, losing my grandmother was a big separation for me. She was very close to me, and after she left, even now I remember her many times.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yeah. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
What about others? Please comment. I don't like one-side batting.
Hare Krishna, Mahesh Prabhu.
Prabhuji, tell me.
Yeah, losing my father, Prabhu, at an early age. I always remember whenever I see a father-son relationship, even today, Prabhu, whoever, like, if they are close.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, I feel jealous, Prabhu. I don't know it's wrong or right.
Yeah.
I lost that opportunity, and my father was very loving, but we lost him earlier, Prabhu.
Yes. Yes,
Thank you, Prabhu.
Yes, thank you. So like this, Prabhujis and Matajis, we have we might be finding lot of examples with in our life, like when separation happens, what kind of pain we go through. That is, it is really inexplicable, right? I mean, it is very difficult to explain that this is how much the pain is. This is how much the pain is. But now here is a scenario where Shukadev Goswami, our Vidura is checking with Uddhava on Krishna and what is Krishna's message, and he was inquiring with Uddhava. Now, if we go step shloka by shloka, I'm not going to read each and every shloka, but we can first only do the translation, and we will try to discuss a bit when important item is or important point is there in one particular shloka. But mainly the first shloka till sixth shloka, it is only the inquiry of either Vidura to Uddhava or Sukadeva Goswami explaining the conversation between them. But actually Uddhava starts speaking from the 7th shloka. Okay, so can someone read the first shloka translation here?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yeah, please, Mataji.
Text 1. Sri Sukadeva Goswami said, when the great devotee Uddhava was asked by Vidura to speak on the message of the dearest Lord Krishna, Uddhava was unable to answer immediately due to excessive anxiety at the remembrance of the Lord.
Great. Yeah. So Uddhava was unable to answer immediately due to excessive anxiety at the remembrance of the Lord. I mean, sometimes it is really difficult to, as I was saying, it is very difficult to explain the anxiety what we go through when we remember someone. There might be an anxiety of hatred, or there might be an anxiety of love also. I mean, we might be coming across in our current society when we are especially dealing with non-devotees or any office premises or outside, we might not liking some person, but when that person's topic come, we might put a fake smile, but we think a lot about someone, right? When who is not actually in good terms with us. So similarly, here out of love, Uddhava was unable to answer immediately due to excessive anxiety at the remembrance of the Lord. Because when someone carries that much love towards someone, and that someone is none other than God himself. We have seen when Lilananda Prabhu, Ramreddy Prabhu have been telling about their grandmother or his father. And now we are not able to see Krishna, that's Supreme Personality of Godhead itself. We can understand what kind of anxiety Uddhava might be going through, who has been through kith and kin serving him till he was there on the planet. Okay. So we need to understand that, try to understand at least, though we can't contemplate, or it is inexplicable to say what kind of anxiety Uddhava might have gone through. But the initial examples, what I have asked, we need to understand what kind of anxiety a person goes when he remembers the loved one. Okay. So now coming to text 2, can someone read?
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yeah, probably.
Text 2. He was one who, even in his childhood, at the age of 5 years, was so absorbed in the service of Lord Krishna that when he was called by his mother for morning breakfast, he did not wish to have it.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah. So we even when we are involved in some interesting activity, we generally forget breakfast and lunch, right? So it is something like that. What Sukadeva Goswami was saying, the kind of affection what Uddhava was having with Krishna. So that's what he was referring to. He was when even in his childhood, at the age of 5 years, was so absorbed in the service of Lord Krishna that when he was called by his mother for morning breakfast, he did not wish to have it. When Sukadeva Goswami is trying to set a context to us on building what kind of relation or rapport Krishna and Uddhava share among themselves. Okay. So next one is text 3. Can someone read?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yeah.
Uddhava thus served the Lord continually from childhood, and in his old age, that attitude of service never slackened. As soon as he was asked about the message of the Lord, he at once remembered all about him.
Yeah. So here, as soon as he might be busy in some work, and immediately when Vidura asked or inquiring about Krishna and asked about the message of the Lord, he at once remembered all about him. When we say all about him, he was able to recollect what are the pastimes he has done, whatever the activities or whatever the rapport they shared, what kind of camaraderie was there between both of them. He was remembering all of them in a glance. Okay, in the text 4, for a moment he remained dead silent, and his body did not move. He became absorbed in the nectar of remembering the Lord's lotus feet in devotional ecstasy, and he appeared to be going increasingly deeper into that ecstasy. I mean, it is something very private emotions, Prabhuji and Mataji, where devotees generally go through when they are in love with the Lord. And it is not for display outside, but it's very natural process which is displayed by devotees. Okay, text 5. Someone want to read it? Text 5.
May I, Prabhu?
Yeah, Prabhu.
Text 5. It was so absorbed by Vidura that Uddhava had all the transcendental bodily changes due to total ecstasy, and he was trying to wipe away tears of separation from his eyes. Thus, Vidura could understand that Uddhava had completely assimilated extensive love for the Lord. Hare Krishna.
Thus, Vidura could understand that Uddhava had completely assimilated extensive love for the Lord, and only a devotee can understand a devotee. If the same ecstasy, if an outside person sees, he might not understand it. Only a devotee can understand what exactly is happening, and he could get what exactly the emotions Uddhava is going through within. Only Vidura could understand. Text 6. The great devotee Uddhava soon came back from the abode of the Lord to the human plane, and wiping his eyes, he awakened his reminiscence of the past and spoke to Vidura in a pleasing mood. So after some time, he gathered his posture, or he assimilated himself in ready to answer for Vidura's inquiry. So he starts like this. So Sri Uddhava said, "My dear Vidura, the son of the world, Lord Krishna, has set, and our house has now been swallowed by the great snake of time. What can I say you about his welfare?" So Prabhuji and Mataji, here that's a very good point, and we will read this as well. Text 8. This universe with all its planets is most unfortunate, and even more unfortunate are the members of the Yadu dynasty, because they could not identify Lord Hari as the personality of Godhead, and any more than the fish could not identify. Fish could identify the moon. So here, that's a important part in Shloka 8, where Srila Prabhupada has given wonderful purport explaining the essence of this particular shloka. So, I mean, here we see Uddhava lamented. Does someone want to read the purport? This 8th shloka purport.
Uddhava lamented for the unfortunate persons of the world who could not recognize Lord Shri Krishna in spite of seeing all his transcendental good qualities. From the very beginning of his appearance within the prison bars of King Kamsa up to his Manushya Lila, although he exhibited his potencies as the personality of Godhead in the six opulence of wealth, strength, fame, beauty, knowledge, and realization, the foolish persons of the world could not understand that he was the Supreme Lord. Foolish persons might have thought him an extraordinary historic figure because they had no intimate touch with the Lord. But more unfortunate were the family members of the Lord, the members of the Yadu dynasty, who were always in company with the Lord but were unable to recognize him as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Uddhava lamented his own fortune also because although he knew Krishna to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he could not properly use the opportunity to render devotional service to the Lord. He regretted everyone's misfortune, including his own. The pure devotee of the Lord thinks himself most unfortunate. That is due to excessive love for Lord and is one of the transcendental perceptions of Viraha, the suffering of separation.
Prabhuji, 1 minute. So, Prabhuji, thank you, Prabhuji. So, sorry for stopping in the middle, Prabhuji. Yeah. So, Prabhuji, this first paragraph, we need to understand that Uddhava lamented his own fortune also because although he knew Krishna to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he could not properly use the opportunity to render devotional service to the Lord. He regretted everyone's misfortune, including his own. The pure devotees of the Lord thinks himself most unfortunate, that is due to excessive love for the Lord, and is one of the transcendental perceptions of Viraha, the suffering of separation. So there are two aspects here mentioned in this shloka of Prabhuji and Mataji's, where Srila Prabhupada has wonderfully explained two concepts here. One is of separation, I mean perception of viraha or the suffering of a separation, and another one is, another point if you notice here, always Uddhava was situated at a pure devotee level and he was already rendering the service, but he always, not only he, any pure devotee thinks himself that he has been performing pure devotional service very low. That's one kind of a rasa, you can say, where Krishna or guru or acharyas or in the parampara, they give to their disciples, wherein they are genuinely situated in the pure devotional service platform, but they always feel that always they have been performing very low. For example, if we compare that with our current situation in the current times, there might be a senior devotee who has been wonderfully situated in a proper platform, but you might be seeing a neophyte devotee, and he genuinely feels that whatever the neophyte devotee does a service, he genuinely feels that he is doing more service than me. It's not out of jealousy or envy, but it is genuinely he feels that, and he gives this rasa. I mean, Lord himself gives this rasa to the pure devotee or the devotee community, where that feeling is there such that they can perform more service to the Lord. It is not out of jealousy or envy, but only out of love. He feels that whatever the service he does towards the Lord, he feels that he is performing less when compared to other devotees. Always that feeling, that feeling is a genuine feeling what devotee have. There we might be seeing a lot of devotees where they might quote we know, we should know internally that we are genuinely saying, or we are saying for the sake of saying. So we should understand that we should be careful, and we should, especially with devotees, we should not take this negatively. We might be coming across a lot of devotees. They encourage us. What kind of service you are doing? You are wonderful, Prabhuji. That Prabhuji, this Prabhuji, and all. So you can take it as an encouragement, not take it as a pride that okay, I am doing something. Always we should, we devotee, or in a Vaishnava, Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, we should always have that attitude of serving the Lord, and not feeling that I am serving the Lord best when compared to other devotees. That kind of attitude should not be there. And this particular culture, or this particular Vaishnava culture, it's not, you might see, you are seeing in all these great personalities like Uddhava or Vidura, who are pure devotees of the Lord. Whatever the service he himself is saying, Uddhava lamented his own fortune also, because although he knew Krishna to be despite knowing Krishna to be the supreme personality of Godhead, he could not properly use that opportunity to render devotional service to the Lord. So that's the point what he's trying to say. And even he mentions about Yadu dynasty as well in the same 8th shloka purport as well, where we need to understand that in fact, there is one point wherein they say that even Yadu dynasty themselves, they could not understand or serve Krishna properly. So why is he saying is, if we go to the 11th chapter or 11th canto, there we will be knowing, we need to understand that Yadu dynasty, or in the Yadu dynasty where Krishna was there, who were the relatives or the Yadu dynasty people were there, they are largely divided into two categories. One category were like demigods expanding or expanding themselves as the relatives or the people in Yadu dynasty. And second category was directly coming from dham, like Goloka or Vaishnava or Vaikuntha lokas, directly coming and being part of Yadu dynasty. They expanded there. So they were ready, they were devotees to take part in Krishna Leela. So we need to understand that Yadu dynasty comprises largely of two variety or two kinds of people. One are demigods getting extended and taking birth, being born in the Yadu dynasty, and there are really pure devotees from the Vaikuntha Dham, who Vaikuntha or Goloka Vrindavan, where the devotees of the Lord have taken birth in Yadu dynasty. So there are two categories of people in Yadu dynasty. That's what we need to understand. And the people or the demigods who have taken birth in Yadu dynasty, they have understanding of Lord or Krishna as a Paramatma form only, but they never accept him as a supreme personality of Godhead or Devadi Deva. So they never accepted, or they never believed it. Yes, Krishna is a Paramatma. That's what they know, who is residing in our hearts. That's it. But they are not having that understanding that he was a supreme personality of Godhead, and he is the source of all avatars, all Purusha avatars, like Kshirodakshaya Vishnu, the Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, Karanodakshaya Vishnu, and all. They are not aware of that particular concept. That's what it is being said. So sometimes that having a familiarity with Krishna, they never thought. They never thought, even if you take Vrindavan also, they never worshipped Krishna as a supreme personality of Godhead. They always treated as a son, as a friend, as a lover, like that they have treated. They got treated, and Krishna likes that rasa. Krishna that likes that rasa. So sometimes too much of we need to understand that they have taken birth to take part in the pastimes of Krishna. We need to be very careful. And if we contemplate this with the current scenario, too much familiarity with the devotee also sometimes, it is not good. That familiarity, if it is increasing the bondage between devotees, that is good. But if the familiarity is making you complacent in the devotional service, that is not good. Even we see, and there is a possibility that we might commit Vaishnava aparadha. So we should be very careful in guarding ourselves in when we are getting familiarity with devotees. So if that familiarity is improving our relations or it is enhancing our spiritual journey for both of us, that is good. But that familiarity, if it is pointing, okay, that Mataji did like this Prabhuji did like this, if you are going into a negative mode, Krishna immediately separates, and probably have spent very little time in Krishna consciousness. But I have seen personally a lot of devotees, when they were pointing someone, they slowly getting away from satsangs as well. So we should be very careful when due to that even in Shastras it is said Ati Parichayat Avagnat. Ati Parichayat Avagnat. So as a Vaishnava devotee, familiarity should breed love, not contempt, love between devotees. So we should be very careful, Prabhuji. So that's what it is being talked about. The universe is without unfortunate, and even more unfortunate are the members of the Yadu dynasty, because they could not identify Lord Hari as the personality of Godhead any more than the fish could identify the moon. So anyway, the fish and moon concept, Srila Prabhupada explains, it is said that from milk ocean, even the moon comes and the fish is also there in the ocean. But when the moon is coming out of that milk ocean, fish should not think that, okay, moon is also part of mine. And our senior acharyas, our senior devotees, they say about Srila Prabhupada also, when Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati has left this planet, the Gaudiya Vaishnava, which was in unison, got broken, and they have formed their own matas, and it got shattered a bit. And that's where Srila Prabhupada has gone to West and invoked Krishna consciousness in a lot of devotees in the West, and he has spread the Krishna consciousness. And always they used to compare, how come Srila Prabhupada is taking title as Prabhupada. Lot of issues have come in that context, where some disciples of Srila Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur has pointed, how come he can take Prabhupada the title. But Srila Prabhupada in return mentioned that he never signed himself as Prabhupada. He always signed Abhay Charana Babu. So like that only he signed, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami only he signed, but never he signed as Prabhupada. So Prabhupada has, it is said that it has two meanings. One is who is there, who is properly situated at the lotus feet of the Lord. And we know what kind of a pure devotee Prabhupada was. And similarly, another meaning what we can derive from Prabhupada is at the lotus feet of the senior Acharya, all devotees are at his lotus feet. So when we need to understand that it is compared to fish here, why Prabhupada has taken that example is the same here. Can someone read this para? It is from here onwards.
Hare Krishna, Babu. Can I read?
Yeah, bro. Please.
It is learned from the revealed scriptures that the moon was born from the milk ocean. There is a milk ocean in the upper planets, and there Lord Vishnu, who controls the heart of every living being as Paramatma or the Super Soul, resides as Shirodakshayi Vishnu. Those who do not believe in the existence of the ocean of the milk, because they have experience only of the salty water in the ocean, should know that the world is also called the go, which means the cow. The urine of the cow is salty, and according to Ayurvedic medicine, the cow's urine is very effective in treating patients suffering from liver trouble. Such patients may not have any experience of the cow's milk because milk is never given to liver patients. But the liver patient may know that the cow has milk also, although he has never tasted it. Similarly, men who have experience only of this tiny planet where the saltwater ocean exists may take the information from the revealed scriptures that there is also an ocean of the milk, although we have never seen it. From this ocean of milk, the moon was born, but the fish in the milk ocean could not recognize that the moon was not another fish and was different from them. The fish took the moon to be one of them, or maybe something illuminating, but nothing more. The unfortunate persons who do not recognize Lord Krishna are like such fish. They take him to be one of them, although a little extraordinary in appearance, strength, etc. The Bhagavad Gita 9.11 confirms such foolish persons to be most unfortunate. Avajananti Mamuda Manushim Tanashrit.
Yeah, wonderful. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Only Srila Prabhupada can give this kind of, comparison. That was very nice. And it lands up in a point where, Srila Prabhupada, his relatives or in his relative circle, after Srila Prabhupada went to the West and spread Krishna consciousness, his popularity gained leaps and bounds, and their relatives have been boasting, he's our guy. But they don't know what kind of achievements Srila Prabhupada mentioned. Always we see, right? We see in our material relations, if someone is getting popular, we try to get associate with, but they never think of what kind of, how he with the what kind of spiritual knowledge he has spread, and how it is spread, and how he has gained, and all. They never think much about it, about the philosophy, but they only take pride in telling that he's a Bengali, he's our relative, so we are very great. So they try to take pride in quoting his name, but they never think, why he got the popularity, or why he, what kind of work he has done, what kind of spiritual knowledge he has given to the entire world, and he's a Jagat Guru. The Jagat Guru, and they don't think about philosophy, but they try to compare that he's one among them. But Srila Prabhupada and his message is beyond caste, creed, religion, black, white, nothing. So that's what we should understand this sloka or this translation in this manner. Okay. Now going to the 9th shloka, right? 9th. Yeah, can someone read 9th one? 9th translation.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yeah.
The Yadus were all experienced devotees, learned and expert in psychic study. Over and above this, they were always with the Lord in all kinds of relaxations, and still they were only able to know him as the one supreme who dwells everywhere.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah. So this particular point mentions that despite they being the Yadu dynasty, who are the devotees, experienced devotees who were there in Yadu dynasty, all were very learned, but they only know that Krishna in his Paramatma form only. So Krishna is residing and dwelling in each and every living entity. That's what the only understanding what they had, not beyond that. They never thought that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, and every one comes from him. They were not having that understanding, and they used to believe that Narayana or the Vishnu form was the main source. That's what they used to believe, not Krishna. So that's the point is being mentioned. So despite so much knowledge, they could not identify him as the supreme personality of Godhead, and they on Vrindavana, they were not, they don't think the lot of people, they used to think him as a Paramatma, and even in the Vrindavana, in the Vrindavana dham also, the devotees or the gopis, they used to even Yashoda used to pray to Narayana. If Krishna is in trouble, they used to pray Narayana or Narayana form. So they used to feel that Narayana is the supreme personality of Godhead. So it is something like the same thing, they will not understand the value of God despite being very close to him. When actually our aspiring Guru Maharaj, one example, our senior devotees quote, there is one Mr. There is one devotee by name Govind Prabhu, who used to act as a driver for His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj, and he used to drive. He used to drive him, and Radhanath Swami Maharaj used to put a hand on him, and he used to be very friendly with him. But in that friendliness, he used to also interact with like a friend only, and like friend only they used to discuss. But once Maharaj has come to India, and the kind of underage he carries, or the disciples what he has in India, and the kind of preaching Maharaj does, after seeing the kind of respect what he gets here in India and across the world, after seeing all this these many disciples in India, he realized that I'm getting mingling with Maharaj too much, and he tried to understand the scenario, and later he was very humble, and it's nothing fault with him. But sometimes, with the intimacy, we might not know the greatness of a person. And even in our daily life, we see, when, for example, last time when I was in Spain, and I was spending time with our CEO was sitting with us right adjacent to us, having a dinner with us, and he was having a one-to-one discussion with me also for a couple of hours. So by having a discussion for a couple of hours with me alone, it doesn't give me a license that I can take advantage of it, and come CEO, we'll go and we'll enjoy outside and all. I can't quote, right? So we should be careful in what kind of relation we are having. If we are having a guru disciple relation, we should have that kind of respect, or that kind of distance. It's not in a negative sense. It's not in a negative sense, but we should understand our limits in whatever relation it is. As a guru and disciple, there is one kind of a relationship, or one kind of rapport, or one kind of affection is there. As a husband and wife, there is another kind of rapport. As a son and father, there is another kind of rapport. So we should understand the relation and the distance what we need to have. So that's the point, Uddhava is talking about here. So the distance and all, we should be. So Yadu's thought Krishna is only a super soul. So they used to consider Narayana as a supreme personality of Godhead. Yeah. Can someone read the next sloka? Translation of next sloka.
11, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Lord Sri Krishna, who manifested his eternal form before the vision of all on the earth, performed his disappearance by removing his form from the sight of those who were unable to see him as he is, due to not executing required penance.
Yeah. So in the so we need to understand, in fact, 10th also we missed, Prabhu. 10th is, under no circumstances can the words of persons bewildered by the illusory energy of the Lord deviate the intelligence of those who are completely surrendered souls. So some atheistic people might criticize Krishna, that they there are a lot of philosophies going in the atheistic circles, saying that Krishna has performed sins of killing the Kauravas, or he has been the mastermind behind the killing of Kauravas, and that is the reason why the sin he got, and that is the reason why he got killed, and all. There are a lot of atheistic philosophies which are floating across. So there are, I don't want to dwell into that, but we need to understand that always this kind of philosophies float, and Krishna, we might ask why these things, Krishna encourages this kind of people in the planet. So in one way, it is good for those kind of people to think in that philosophy and stay in that philosophy and stay in this material world such that they are not disturbing the pure devotees or who are trying to practice the devotional service. So when there are Puranas, even they say, that Lord Rama has put his arrow in one of the one leg of frog when in the lake. So that is the reason why he got this thing God in this current yuga, wherein Krishna has also faced the same thing. So like this, there are a lot of philosophy floating across, but we should be very careful about those philosophies, and the devotees are not at all interested in that. Devotees are only interested in service to the Lord. In what better way? They have a complete understanding that He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and they don't have any discussion or any thought in mind also. But especially for the neophyte devotees, it is a little tricky for them. But the devotees who are having complete faith on the Lord, they never contemplate on those aspects. So we need to understand, it's good to separate non-devotees from the devotees. That kind of philosophies Krishna keeps also, or encourages, or not to say encourage, but he allows to people to dwell in those negative philosophies such that they are not disturbing devotees. That's what we need to understand. Okay, so 12th one is the Lord appeared in the mortal world by his internal potency. The Lord appeared in the mortal world by his internal potency, Yoga Maya. He came in his eternal form, which is just suitable for his pastimes. These pastimes were wonderful for everyone, even for those proud of their own opulence, including the Lord himself in his form as the Lord of Vaikuntha. Thus, his transcendental body is the ornament of all ornaments. So there is we need to understand that he comes with his Yoga Maya, or through this internal potency to this material world, and performs his pastimes. And a lot of people mistakes him with as a normal human being. So it's the same point getting extended here in the 12th sloka as well. So some people might even think that if he is God, he could have stayed in the planet eternally, and and manage the world properly and ensure right. A lot of people might think about God like that. But when he is there, he performs his pastimes, and he does the same Leela in other planet or other Brahmanda as well. So he goes Brahmanda to Brahmanda to perform his pastimes along with the entourage of his devotees. So that's what we need to understand. So, Prabhujis and Matajis, this in fact coming to 13, all the demigods from the upper, lower and middle universe planetary system assembled at the altar of the Rajasuri sacrifice performed by Maharaja Yudhishthira. After seeing the beautiful bodily features of Lord Krishna, they all contemplated that he was the ultimate dexterous creation of Brahma, the creator of human beings. So even in Bhagavad Gita Krishna says that even the demigods or rishis also can't understand my origin. That's what he says. So again, this point is reiterated here, because here the demigods were thinking that Brahma is the ultimate creator, ultimate primary creator. So we all were coming from Brahma. So they were an impression. Even Krishna, after seeing the bodily features of Krishna, they were stunned with the beauty of Krishna, and they were in an impression that what a creation Brahma has done, such a beautiful Lord, or what beautiful bodily features Krishna has. So they are appreciating Brahma, but they don't know that Brahma himself is coming from Krishna. That's the kind of thinking what demigods have. So that is the reason why in Bhagavad Gita Krishna himself says that even the demigods and great rishis also don't know my origin. Okay, so 14th shloka, the damsels of Raja, after pastimes of laughter, humor and exchanges of glances, were anguished when Krishna left them. They used to follow him with their eyes, and thus they sat down with stunned intelligence and could not finish their household duties. Again, he's talking about the gopis here. where they were having a relationship of laughter, humor, or exchanges of glances, and some mischievous pastimes they used to have, and he was talking about them. So Prabhuji and Mataji, if you need to understand, especially these 14 shlokas or the till the 14 slokas, are the important ones in this chapter, wherein he is talking about the separation aspect, and lot of people or lot of relatives or other devotees are not able to understand Lord perfectly. Okay. Now here, Vidura remembers each and every pastimes, and he shares with Vidura here, remembering each and every pastime what Krishna has performed here. Okay. So let us read the 15th sloka. Sorry. Yeah, 15th sloka. Someone.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
The personality of Godhead, the all compassionate controller of both the spiritual and the material creations, is unborn. But when there is friction between his peaceful devotees and persons who are in the material modes of nature, he takes birth just like fire, accompanied by the Mahat Tattva.
Yeah, accompanied by Mahatattva. So again, when here Uddhava is reiterating the point that despite Lord has been all compassionate controller of both spiritual and material creation, he is unborn. But when there is a friction, between his peaceful devotees and the demons, he takes birth just like a fire and accompanied by Mahatattva. He takes birth just like fire to demolish, to defeat and demolish the demons. So that's the point Uddhava is reiterating about the Lord, remembering the Lord's greatness. So in the Shloka 16, when I think of Lord Krishna, how he was born in the prison house of Vasudeva, although he is unborn, how he went away from his father's protection to Vraja and lived there incognito out of fear of the enemy, and how although unlimitedly powerful, he fled from Mathura in fear. All these bewildering incidents give me distress. So what kind of pains might have Krishna gone through? What kind of disturbance or what kind of inconvenience is being caused to Krishna? So all these incidents, when devotee thinks about the Lord, automatically the tears float. Even we can think of when in the Mahabharata Yuddha, when we think of Arjuna for the sake of Krishna, for the sake of his devotee, he was gleefully accepted to take the role of a charioteer. And to show the directions, I still sometimes it feels very touching when I hear that Arjuna, for showing the direction in which Krishna has to go, he slightly kicks Krishna on the back with Arjuna's legs. It's not actually kicking, but for moving to the right side, he takes he kicks with the right leg to Krishna to show an indication that he has to move towards right. And he kicks Krishna with left leg to indicate him to go towards left direction. So when all these things, we need to understand that all these bewildering incidents give him distress. So Vidura is thinking of all those which has gone through in Krishna's life, and he was feeling very distressed. Text 17. Lord Krishna begged pardon from his parents for their, Krishna and Balrama's, inability to serve their feet due to being away from home because of great fear of Kamsa. He said, "Oh mother, oh father, please excuse us for this inability. All this behavior of the Lord gives me pain at heart." Only a pure devotee can think. Lot of people might be going to temples. Lot of people might be going to big temples, asking for a lot of material things. But how many people think that Lord has to take rest, or how to serve Lord, or how to please Lord? Only most of the people, they think about pleasing themselves and what God can give or what Lord can give. But have we ever thought what can please the Lord? We most of them never think. So only a pure devotee can think like that. So that's what Uddhava is reiterating. All this behavior of the Lord gives him a pain at heart. Yeah, can someone read 18?
Who, after smelling the dust of his lotus feet even once, could even forget it. Simply by expanding the leaves of his eyebrows, Krishna has given the death blow to those who were burdening the earth.
Burdening the earth, yes. So simply by expanding the leaves of his eyebrows, Krishna has given the death blow to those who are burdening the earth. Yeah, it is talking about the demons who are miscreants who are disturbing the world. So Shloka 19, you have personally seen how the king of Chedi, that is Shishupala, achieved success in yoga practice, although he hated Lord Krishna. Even the actual yogis aspire after such a success with great interest by performance of their various practices. Who can tolerate separation from him? So again, he's reiterating the greatness of Krishna here in killing Shishupala. Text 20. Certainly others who were fighters on the battlefield of Kurukshetra were purified by the onslaught of Arjuna's arrows, and while seeing the lotus-like face of Krishna, so pleasing to the eyes, they achieved the abode of the Lord. Yeah. So he's reiterating about the fact that whoever was participating in the war could achieve the ultimate abode. We already know this fact that all the devotees or all the soldiers who were part of the battlefield were achieved the ultimate destination. Can you remember who were? It's a question for everyone. Who survived the Mahabharata war? And how many from Pandava's side and how many is from Kuru's side? Sanjay Prabhu, except for you, any other devotees can answer this. Did you get the question?
Yes. Prabhuji, Kaurva side, Aswathama, Kripacharya, this what is that? The Sena from Krishna gave that Sena to this one person was from there also, Prabhuji.
Sagyidu.
No. So Krutavarma Prabhu. From Kaurava, let me tell, Kaurava side there are 3 who survived the Mahabharata battle, and Pandava's side total 7 who survived the battle. All others were delivered. Others were delivered, and that name is Krutavarma Prabhu. Krutavarma in Kuru's side. And in Pandava's side, who are the 7? Anyhow, Pandavas are the 5. Apart from Pandavas, who are the
Satyaki and Krishna.
No. Krishna is not in the picture here.
Satyaki.
Satyaki, that's right. Who else?
Parikshit.
No. Parikshit was not born at that time.
Kunti.
No, Mataji. Kunti was not participating in the war. I am talking about the Pandavas who are participating in the war.
Okay.
Yes, it is Pandavas and another
Satyaki
name,
and
Satyaki. Another name is Yuyutsu.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes.
Yuyutsu. Yuyutsu. Who do you remember? Who is Yuyutsu? Yuyutsu is the son of Dhritarashtra, born from Gandhari's maid. Okay, so these are the warriors who survived the Mahabharata war. Okay, so that's what he was talking about here. Vidra was talking about, all were delivered. I mean, personally, all the fighters, certainly others who were fighters on the battlefield of Kurukshetra were purified by the onslaught of Arjuna's arrows, and while seeing the lotus face of Krishna, so pleasing to the eyes, they achieved the abode of Lord. Yeah, can someone read 21?
May I, Prabhu?
Yeah, please, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu. Go ahead, Prabhu. No problem.
Go ahead, Prabhuji.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Lord Sri Krishna is the Lord of all kinds of trees and is independently supreme by achievement of all kinds of fortune. He is worshipped by the eternal maintainers of the creation who offer him the paraphernalia of worship by touching their millions of helmets to his feet.
Okay. Let us try to see when he says all kind of threes. So Lord Krishna so mild. Lord Krishna is so mild and merciful, and as described in the above verses, and yet he is the Lord of all kind of threes. He is the supreme Lord of three worlds. Threes in the sense, all the three worlds, three worlds. Upper planet, lower planet, and middle planet. Hellish planets, heavenly planets, and Bhuloka. So that's what it means by threes. Okay. Yeah. Can someone read 22? Yes, Prabhu. Go ahead, Prabhu.
Therefore, O Vidura, does it not pain his servitor when we remember that he, Lord Krishna, used to stand before King Ugrasena, who was sitting on the royal throne, and used to submit explanation before him, saying, "Oh my Lord, please let it be known to you." Hare Krishna.
Yeah, so he is reiterating about King Ugrasena, who was his, King Ugrasena was his grandfather. So therefore, O Vidura, does it pain us, his servitors, when we remember that he used to stand before King Ugrasena, who was sitting on the royal throne, and used to submit explanation before him, saying, "Oh my Lord, please let it be known to you." So it is something like, when when someone is sitting in a judge position, and advocate says right, my lord, and he gives explanation. So like that, he was giving explanation to the king there, Dwarka. Okay, Sloka 23. Alas, how shall I take shelter of one more merciful? Alas, how shall I take shelter of one more merciful than he who granted the position of mother to a she-demon, Putana, although she was unfaithful and she prepared deadly poison to be sucked from her breast. So when Prabhuji and Mataji, here Vidura is recollecting, remembering Krishna one pastime after another, thinking about his glories, thinking about himself, remembrance. So it's a lesson for us that as devotees, when we are slowly in our current lifetime, when we are slowly spending or aging, we should increase our faith, or increase or spend most of the time remembering Krishna and his pastimes in whatever situation we are in. When that is called open eye meditation. We generally do meditation by closing eyes, but there is an open eye meditation. Even whatever the activity we do, we should think about Krishna. Okay, so he's talking about Putana here. Next 24. I consider the demons who are inimical toward the Lord to be more than devotees, because while fighting with the Lord, absorbed in the thoughts of enmity, they are able to see the Lord carried out on the shoulder of Garuda, the son of Taksha, and carrying the wheel weapon in his hand. So sometimes, Acharyas explain, people like Kamsa, Hiranyakashipu and all, how focused they are. They have been thinking about Krishna 24/7. How focused they are in Krishna. It might be negatively, but sometimes the devotees feel that much. Devotees appreciate that quality in them. That much focus I'm not getting in Krishna. Just we are talking about the focus aspect, not the negativity aspect. So Acharyas even quote, that how great are the demons when they are appreciating demons, how focused they are in remembering Krishna. So we need to imbibe that quality of focus from the demons also. We need to imbibe. So that's what senior acharyas say, that devotees, that's the greatness of devotees, right? They see everything positive in and around them, whether it is a villainish characters also, they see positive. So how great are those demons, that they are very 100% focused on Krishna in killing for a negative thing. That much focus is not there for us in remembering Krishna. So that's what is being talked about. Okay. Yeah. So Sloka 25. The personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna, being prayed to by Brahma to bring welfare to the earth, was begotten by Vasudeva in the womb of his wife Devaki in the prison of King Bhoja. Yeah. So he's one by one, he's recollecting all the incidents of Krishna. Okay, yeah, yeah. Can someone read 26?
Thereafter, sorry. Thereafter, his father, being afraid of Hamsa, brought him to the cow pastures of Maharaj Nanda, and there he lived for 11 years like a covered flame with his elder brother Baldeva.
Yeah. So yeah, again, it's again when all this till end, he's explaining what kind of difficulties Krishna has gone through. Just to it increases love, right? When we talk about a person, you develop that kind of love. So he's explaining all those things which has happened in Krishna's life. Yeah, can someone read 27?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yeah.
In his childhood, the Almighty Lord was surrounded by cowherd boys and calves, and thus he traveled on the shore of the Yamuna river, through gardens densely covered with trees and filled with vibrations of chirping birds.
Yeah. Yeah, so he's remembering the friendly banters what Krishna used to do with his cowherd boyfriends and cows, and at the shore of Yamuna river. He's remembering that incidents. Yeah, so Shloka 28. When the Lord displayed his activities just suitable for childhood, he was visible only to the residents of Vrindavana. Sometimes he would cry and sometimes laugh just like a child, and while so doing, he would appear like a lion cub. I don't know if has anyone seen lion cub shouting in real, not in video. Has anyone seen lion cub? I don't know whether shouting is the right term, but roaring. Okay, let me tell roaring. But I think roaring is more applicable for the big lion, not for the cub. But anyway, have you seen any cub roaring?
No, Prabhuji.
Yeah, so Uddhava is comparing when he would cry and sometimes laugh just like a child. While so doing, he would appear like a lion cub. When it is very, I've seen a couple of videos. It looks really good. So he's cherishing or remembering those pastimes of Krishna. So 29, while herding the very beautiful bulls, the Lord, who was the reservoir of all opulence and fortune, used to blow his flute, and thus he enlivened his faithful followers, the cowherd boys. The great wizards who were able to assume any form were engaged by the king of Bhoja, Kamsa, to kill Krishna, but in the course of his pastime, the Lord killed them as easily as child breaks dolls. So he was recollecting all the pastimes of Krishna, killing all the demons whom Kamsa used to send to kill Krishna. Yeah, can someone read 31?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yeah.
The inhabitants of the Vrindavan were perplexed by great difficulties because a certain portion of the Yamuna was poisoned by the chief of the reptiles Kalia. The Lord chastised the snake king within the water and drove him away. And after coming out of the river, he caused the cows to drink the water and proved that the water was again in its natural state.
Yes. Yeah. So this is the pastime, Karya pastime, what Uddhava is remembering, that he has performed that pastime, and he has poisonous lake also he has brought into the natural state of normalcy. Yeah, text 32. The Supreme Lord Krishna desired to utilize the opulent financial strength of Maharaj Nanda for worship of the cows, and also he wanted to give a lesson to Indra, the king of heaven. Thus he advised his father to perform worship of go, or the pasturing land and cows, with the help of learned brahmanas. Sometimes, Prabhuji and Mataji, we need to understand a lesson. Despite he being a demigod, getting a demigod position, he is also a great opportunity, and he has been a devotee of the Lord. But if we correlate with our contemporary society, we need to understand that when we have or when we accept any guru in our life, even if he chastises, it is for our good. And especially for the neophyte devotees, if something negativity is seen, they go back, or they take it offensively. So we need to understand that whatever, once we accept the philosophy, and especially in the parampara, Guru would be only thinking about good, our good only. And despite having some difficulties or some material difficulties, it is for our good or our purification only. That's what we need to understand. Okay. Yeah. Can someone read 32?
I will, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Yeah. The Supreme Lord Krishna desired to utilize the opulent financial strength of Maharaja Nanda for worship of the cows, and also he wanted to give a lesson to Indra, the king of heaven. Thus, he advised his father to perform worship of go or the pasturing land and the cows with the help of learned brahmanas.
Go means Govardhan. Govardhan or the pasturing lands and the cows with the help of learned brahmanas. So 33. O sober Vidura, King Indra, his honor having been insulted, poured water incessantly on Vrindavana, and thus the inhabitants of Vraja, the land of cows, were greatly distressed. But the compassionate Lord Krishna saved them from danger with his pastime umbrella, the Govardhana hill. In the third season of the year, the Lord enjoyed as the central beauty of the assembly of women by attracting them with his pleasing songs in an autumn night brightened by the moonshine. So it's talking about Rasa Leela. So, there are like this, Uddhava remembers all the pastimes, and he's in trance explaining Vidura that all these pastimes, all the kind of pains what Krishna has gone through, and what kind of pastimes he has done, now it is no more there. He has left to his abode, and he has kept all of us in darkness. That's what he talks about, and like this he remembers. And furthermore, pastimes in the third chapter is also continued. It's also continued in the third chapter. Same, the remembrance of the Lord Krishna is getting continued even in the third chapter, where the Lord's pastimes out of Vrindavana are explained in detail. So they cherish all the pastimes in brief, and Uddhava and Vidura are, sometimes they say, right, పాత జ్ఞాపకాలు నెమరు వేర్చుకోవటం. In Telugu they say పాత జ్ఞాపకాలు నెమరు వేర్చుకోవటం. And these memories might sometimes bring smile to us, and sometimes it might bring sorrow to us. And mostly for Uddhava, it was bringing sorrow to him in separation. So that's what we need to understand. And with this, we end this chapter here, Prabhujis and Matajis. And probably tomorrow our Anandram Prabhu would be continuing further about the pastimes of Lord Krishna in brief, which are performed out of Vrindavana. Okay, so any reflections, any questions, Prabhujis and Matajis? No questions?
Mahesh, Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Well, I have one question and also one thing, Prabhu. The one thing was, that point was so touching, Prabhu, where we always, at least we always ask, what do we want from God?
Yeah.
But we never thought of, we never think of God. Yes. When He is going to take rest, or He has to rest. Yeah, that point is like, it's a new revelation, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Thank you. And one question, Prabhu, maybe I did not understand, or maybe
yeah.
No, my question is, Prabhu, at one point you mentioned, like, sometimes people think, like, why Krishna left his body? He can stay here forever. Then I think we are saying, like, he goes and plays the same pastimes in another world.
Yes.
So maybe, Prabhu, like, Krishna, does he perform these leelas simultaneously in multiple universes, Prabhu?
Eternally, all these leelas go on eternally in one or the other Brahmanda, Prabhu. Eternally it goes on, Prabhu. And in our Brahmanda, Prabhuji, am I audible?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah. Yeah, so Prabhuji, we need to understand one thing. The thing is, Prabhuji, these leelas go eternally in one or the other Brahmanda, Prabhu. We need to understand that. And they go in one of the other Brahmandas, and eternally these pastimes are going on in Goloka, Prabhu.
Okay.
And we need to understand, Prabhu, here the time domain is the only concept which is there in the material world. And in Goloka or in the Vaikuntha Lokas, there is no time domain, Prabhu. They eternally goes on, actually. I think last time in one of the, I think 2 or 3 weeks back, Lilananda was explaining about our living entity. We might not be there. We are, especially we are there even currently in Goloka, but we left, and from where the juncture what we left, if we go back again there, if we go back again to Godhead, abode of Godhead or Goloka, we would be continuing our activities from where we left, because we came from one particular act from that moment, and we have fallen to the material world, right?
Yes, yes.
And again, once we purify ourselves and go back home, back to Godhead, we would be starting our activity from that point only, and we don't even feel that we have spent these many lives in material world, millions of lives in material world. We don't even realize, because there is no time factor in the Goloka.
Yes. Yes,
and these pastimes even go on eternally, even in this material world, in different Brahmandas, and also in eternally in the Goloka and Vaikuntha Lokas as well, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah. So, yeah, Prabhuji. So, any other questions, Prabhu? Anyone? When I know I'm not eligible, Prabhu, but I really. It was like I remembered this song, in Telugu there is a song, Gurtukostunnai, Gurtukostunnai. That song is a very popular song in Telugu, which that's what I think Uddhava was going through. He was remembering all the pastimes of whatever Krishna has done and all he was remembering. So I was remembering that song. I don't know, somehow it was relevant. Had time been there, I would have translated that song with these pastimes as well. Yeah. Yeah. So any other questions, any other reflections, Prabhujis and Madhavjis? Yeah. If you have no other questions, then I have a question. Lilananda Prabhu, are you there? Lilananda Prabhu, are you there? Okay, yeah, I think he might be busy. If anyone can answer, probably can stop recording, Prabhuji. Subara Prabhu.